Welcome to Alive and Well, the podcast for the new era of high achievers. You're done burning out, and you're ready to lead, work, and live in a rhythm that honors both your brilliance and your body. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a trial attorney turned nervous system strategist, and I've lived the burnout story. I know what it's like to chase your goals at the expense of your well-being. And I also know it doesn't have to be that way. Here, we're redefining success. It's where productivity feels peaceful, boundaries feel like freedom, and energy comes from within. Each week, I'll share practical tools for nervous system regulation, time mastery, and somatic strategies so you can show up with clarity, calm, and confidence in every part of your life. Because you, my friend, were given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So here's to life and living it fully. This is the path to feeling alive and well. Let's dive in. Hey, you're listening to Alive and Well. It's Michelle here. So glad you guys are with me today because I think this is one of those short, really powerful episodes that I'm believing is going to land with a lot of clarity, especially if you have been feeling stretched or reactive or just kind of done and fried and over it lately. It is, if you're listening to this in real time, it's the final day of Honor Your Energy, which is my 7-day nervous system and boundaries reset. And if you're listening live, it's the last day that you can jump in at the founder rate. And not only that, it's the last day that you can jump in to make it in time for tomorrow's live workshop. So if you're not listening live, no worries. You can still check it out. The workshop will just have passed, but you can watch the recording. But if you want to jump in and you want to take this reset, the 7-day reset, and really focus on setting healthy boundaries over the rest of the holiday season and starting 2026, feeling so much different, this is it. And if you want to make it live to our coaching call tomorrow, I'm going to be running you through a workshop on managing stress. Make sure to sign up today so I can get you the link for tomorrow's Zoom call. And if you can't make it live, I'll send you the recording. Anyhow, it closes tonight. I've been talking with so many of you this week, and something keeps coming up again and again and again. A lot of y'all are tired for good reason, but it's not like a sleep tired. It's a capacity tired. So you're noticing that you're more sensitive, you're more easily overwhelmed, you're more impatient, you're more anxious, more shut down, more just like, I don't have anything left to give. And I think being at that place, or I remember at least when I was at that place, it was frustrating for me because my husband and people who were well-intentioned would ask me like, hey, what's wrong? What can I help with? What are you worried about? What are you confused about? What feels so overwhelming or what's so big on your plate that I can help carry? And it was really frustrating to me because there was nothing big that was wrong that I could just point to and be like, hey, that's the thing that's causing me to feel so awful, right? That's the thing that's just zapping my bandwidth and my energy. So I was doing all the same things I always did, but for some reason, at some point, it just flipped a switch and it just felt so much heavier. And so today, I want to help you name what's actually happening because it's not random and it's not that you're doing life wrong. High capacity women don't fall apart because they're incapable. That's not the issue. We burn out because we've been carrying our lives with misaligned boundaries, particularly in 4 places that I see over and over and over again that I've built this framework around for Honor Your Energy that we don't even realize we're leaking energy. And these aren't the classic like say no more often boundaries. These are the nervous system boundaries, those internal guardrails that really protect your energy, your attention, your behavior, and your core needs. And when even one of those gets wobbly or we start to collapse on our boundaries, the whole system feels it. And not just our nervous system and our body and our energy, but there's a trickle down, right? The people around us, our husbands, our kids, our workspaces. So today I want to walk you through 4 misaligned boundaries that I see quietly draining high capacity women. I want to talk about why they matter. I want to talk about how to spot them. And then I want to give you some of the things that begin to shift the moment that you realign these boundaries. So let's dive in. The first boundary that's so often misaligned is what I call attentional alignment, aka where your energy goes, wherever your attention is being dragged, right? I think this is probably the sneakiest one, and it's just that it's your attention. Most women I work with don't struggle with discipline. They don't struggle with motivation. What they struggle with is everything pulling on their attention all day long. Like, raise your hand if that feels true for you. It certainly has felt true for me. Everyone wants something from me. I have 700 tabs open in my brain all day long. And it's the constant nature of it, right? I'm planning dinner while I'm answering a work email, or I'm remembering that appointment that I just forgot to schedule, or I'm keeping track of, what everyone needs for the parties that are coming up and the holidays, and just like anticipating the next thing before I'm even finished what I'm working on, right? And I think it can be subtle, but your nervous system really treats every one of these as an open loop, and open loops cost energy. So you end the day, you're exhausted, but it's not necessarily from doing any big exhausting thing. It's just exhausting to be constantly managing and tracking and anticipating and holding. So a misaligned attentional boundary probably sounds something like, I feel scattered, right? My brain just feel like it won't shut off. I finally get into bed at the end of the day and I'm so tired, but I feel wired, right? Maybe that describes you at the end of the day, the last, few weeks or months. Just reacting all day long. Maybe it's that you feel like you can't get ahead on anything. You're waking up and you feel like you're already behind. And when this boundary with your attention is repaired, your brain can finally get quiet and focused, right? And just like this centered feeling, you start to think more clearly. You're not white knuckling your focus because your system can finally downshift, and you literally have access to the parts of your brain that feel like a superpower that you don't have access to when you have all those open loops and you're stuck in fight or flight. So inside Honor Your Energy, we actually spend a whole lesson here, because when your attention realigns, everything downstream just starts to soothe and kind of fix itself. Now, boundary number 2, the second misaligned boundary that I see as draining high capacity women is the things that they are doing or not doing. And I call this behavioral integrity, right? It's when our mouth says yes, but everything in our body is like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have time for that. I don't have capacity for that. I don't have bandwidth for that, right? I don't want to be around those people, whatever it is. It's doing things out of obligation. And if you are a high achieving, high performing, high capacity woman, I would place a very large bet that you are likely the go-to person in a lot of areas in your life, right? Maybe in your extended family, maybe at work, maybe you're just the one who steps in, the one who fills the gap, the one who remembers all the things and anticipates all the needs, right? You're going around soothing everyone's edges, you're carrying all the weight. And because you can do it, you do it. I have been there. Because I could do it, I did it. But there's such a difference between our capability, I can do it, and our capacity. Do I have the bandwidth for it right now? Because I was doing it when I had the capability, but I didn't know I didn't have the capacity. I was doing it even though I was tired. I was doing it even when I didn't want to. I was doing it even when it cost me. And that's a behavioral integrity leak. It's when your external behavior doesn't match your internal truth. So it's when your yes comes from obligation, people pleasing, not wanting to disappoint anyone, not wanting to be seen as dropping the ball or someone who's not a team player, right? From pressure and not from alignment. And this boundary drain it's not dramatic. It's this tiny little misalignments that accumulate, right? It's every time you agree to something before you even realize you've said yes, and you're taking on more invisible labor and you're absorbing responsibility that was never yours. And every time that happens, your nervous system spends energy you don't actually have. And this is one of the core places I think women start to experience resentment and tension and emotional volatility. And it's not because we're rude or unkind or just overwhelmed. It's because our internal truth isn't being honored. And again, just like with the attention, when this boundary starts to realign, it creates space, right? Things can settle. We feel solid in ourselves again. We're not waking up dreading the day. It feels spacious and we're not leaking energy on autopilot. That was the second. The third boundary that I see that is so often misaligned is a boundary around your energetic capacity. What do I mean by that? I mean the limit your body tries to tell you about long before we usually listen. And it's one of my favorite to teach because it's the one I think we've been conditioned to override the most. It's not about if we have enough time. It's not about sleep. It's not even about our calendar or our workload. It's about the bandwidth our nervous system has, not the bandwidth we expect ourselves to have. Because the truth that none of us were taught is that our capacity is not static, right? Our window of tolerance, our bandwidth changes. Sometimes it changes moment to moment, but it certainly changes day to day and week to week based on so many different factors. Our bandwidth changes based on our stress levels, on our hormones, where we are in our cycle, right? How we're sleeping, things we've experienced in our past, our trauma history, our relationships, our environment, the current season of life that we're in. All of that can impact our bandwidth. And you guys can probably think about a time right now or a day where you had a really wide bandwidth. You had a lot of energetic capacity and things kind of went wrong from the moment you woke up until you went to bed, right? It's like the kids didn't want to get out of bed. Someone couldn't find something. The project was late. You hit traffic, like whatever it was, right? A series of unfortunate events. And you get to the end of the day and you're like, man, I'm so proud of myself. Like this was not an easy day. And somehow I didn't snap. I held it together. I pivoted. I adjusted. I managed. I had huge bandwidth today. And then on other days, we haven't slept. We haven't eaten. Other stuff's going on, right? We're feeling stress, relationship issue, whatever it is. And the same exact things happen, or maybe nothing. Maybe it's like literally spilled milk and we lose it, right? That's enough to send us beyond the edges of our bandwidth in that moment. But most of us expect ourselves to function like a machine, right? Static bandwidth, the same thing every day. I have the same capacity every day and I can go and I can perform and I'll override what I feel and I'll continue pushing and I'll squeeze in every last bit and stretch myself past the point of clarity. And then what happens? We're shocked when we snap or when we lose it or when we have a meltdown or we shut down or, we can't be present. We can't make a decision, all of those things. When we have misaligned capacity boundaries, so often the internal dialogue or what we're saying out loud maybe is just like, I should be able to handle this. Why can't I do this, right? Why am I so irritable? Why is everything annoying me right now? Why do I want no one to touch me? Why does everything feel so loud? Why do I keep procrastinating instead of getting this stuff done? Like, why am I so tired when I can see that, my Oura ring is telling me that I slept last night, but I got 0 restorative deep sleep? When energetic capacity realigns, however, when you get some good boundaries around this and start to protect your energetic capacity, your body stops feeling like it's fighting you. And what comes back? Ease, clarity. There's actual energy again. And it doesn't come from caffeine or an energy drink or what have you. And inside Honor Your Energy, the daily somatic resets. You get 7 days of somatic practices, 2-minute tools. I teach you. They have videos, guided audio, the whole 9 yards. You get an email every day telling you exactly what to focus on for 7 days. They're designed specifically to repair all the boundaries, but particularly this one, because capacity is not built mentally, right? We don't think ourselves or mindset ourselves into increased capacity. If that was the case, we would be more robotic, right? We could just wake up every day and be like, hey, I'm going to go, I have everything I need, all the energy to go all out today. It's not. It's built on our physiology. It's a physiological capacity. It's how much stress our nervous system can withhold before sending us into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And then finally, the fourth misaligned boundary that I see draining high capacity women is our boundaries around our core self needs. Boundaries around our core self needs. Boundaries around the non-negotiables that our body requires to stay regulated. It's the ones that we usually stop honoring first, right? And I think we minimize this, but these are the things that I'm not talking about the luxuries. I'm not talking about spa days, bubble baths. I love all that stuff. I'm talking about the simple physiological, emotional, and spiritual needs that keep your system steady. I'm talking about things like quiet, sunlight, movement, rest, connection with people who light you up and make you feel loved, food, hydration, just time to process and transition, asking for support, right? Prayer, stillness, basic care. And a lot of women don't deny these needs intentionally. I don't think I've come across a woman who does that. These things just kind of get crowded out by the day, but our body notices, right? And our body notices every time we skip a meal or rush through a meal because we don't have time. Every time we rush through the morning or rush anywhere, that signals stress and a threat to our nervous system that sends us into fight or flight. Every time we really want to say something, but we don't because we don't want to ruffle feathers or upset anybody. Every time we want to scream, yell, cry, what have you, but we just kind of swallow that emotion and suppress it. Every time we, push past our edges and keep going and showing up and working and cleaning and doing all the things instead of giving our body what it needs. And when our core needs aren't met, our nervous system goes into survival mode. And it's not because we're failing at this. It's just because our body's trying to tell us like, hey, I have limited capacity, right? I have God-given limitations. It's okay. We all do. And I can't keep running on this little. This boundary is foundational, you guys, because when your core needs start to realign, everything softens. Your baseline softens. Your patience expands, your emotional margin comes back. We've all had it, right? Seasons where we've really cared for ourselves well, we've nourished our body, we've moved our body, we've set good boundaries. Our ability to regulate returns. And it's the difference between feeling like we're holding on by thread. Hello, can I just talk to somebody in the holiday season? And the feeling of like, oh, I can breathe again, right? I feel grounded. I feel present. I feel like I've got a plan. I feel really good and confident. And these 4 boundaries, in my opinion, are the real root of why so many of us feel drained. I don't think it's your schedule. I don't think and I'm talking about the root, right? I think these are all like things that can add to the feelings that we're experiencing. But at the root, it's not the season. It's not your mindset. It's not that you're trying hard enough. It's these 4 boundaries. Your attention, where are you giving your attention? Your behavior, your capacity, your attention, what are you giving your attention to? Your behavior, what are the things that you're doing or not doing? Your capacity, and then your core needs. It's because those 4 boundaries have been stretched past their limits for too long. And when they realign, you guys, everything else realigns with them. Your reactions realign. Your clarity realigns. Your energy realigns. Your presence, your patience, your sense of self, it all realigns. And that's why I created Honor Your Energy. It's not a productivity tool. It's not a hack. I don't want a life that I have to hack. It's a physiological reset. It's a safe, structured, simple way to help your body regulate, to help your boundaries strengthen, help you come back to yourself in 7 days with less than 10 minutes a day. So, if anything in this episode has clicked for you today, if you recognize yourself in even one of these 4 boundary leaks, if you've been wanting to feel steadier and calmer and clearer heading into the new year, Honor Your Energy is open through midnight tonight if you're listening in real time, December 2nd. You're going to get immediate access to the core lessons. You can watch them on demand. You have lifetime access. You're going to get access to 7 daily guided somatic resets. I've created a boundary alignment tracker for you. So you can go into a Google sheet that I created and track the things that are draining your energy, the aligned boundary you want to set. I have a full script library for communicating boundaries. I have all these different categories, and then you could just go in and search for the type of boundary you want to set. And I have a little script cut and paste that you can just use, like literally cut it and paste it into texts or emails to set boundaries around these categories. And then again, if you're jumping in and snagging your spot to honor your energy before Wednesday, December 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern, then you're going to get access to the live stress management workshop that I'm hosting on Wednesday, December 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern on Zoom. And then at that workshop, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to spot your automatic go-to patterning when you feel stressed and overwhelmed. And then we're going to take a look at how that serves you, how it holds you back. And I'm going to help you put some intention and some boundaries around that coping mechanism so you can start to shift your stress responses in real time. And then last thing, if you want personalized clarity, I'm talking like I will read your mail and give you a plan. I will show you where you're exactly where you're leaking energy. I'm going to show you your stress patterns. I'm going to show you the places your capacity is draining. Then jump into the VIP capacity alignment audit. How it works is basically I've created a tracking sheet for you. For 3 to 5 days, you're going to track your time and energy. And then you're going to submit that tracking sheet to me. I have like a little form you're going to fill in with that, some information I want from you. You're going to send it to me and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to analyze it and I'm going to send you back a full audit report. Not only analyzing and pointing out where you're leaking energy and all these different things. And I'm also going to give you the next 2 or 3 really high impact steps, moves, things I think you need to be doing and putting into practice that I believe are going to make a huge difference for you based on the data that you gave me. So this is the most precise, supportive thing I've ever offered at this level. It's available at the Founders Rate now. It's going to double in price tomorrow. So both close tonight at midnight. You can join using the link in the show notes. Man, I would love to see you inside because the reality is that you don't have to overhaul, right? That's I say that so often. This isn't about overhauling everything in your life. I'm talking about setting boundaries around 4 key areas, internal ones, right? To realign. And once you do that, I promise you everything else gets easier. Really believing that this episode today brought some clarity and maybe some compassion for yourself and some language for the things that you've been feeling. I'm so grateful that you're here. I love y'all so much. I'd love to see you inside of Honor Your Energy, my 7-day nervous system and boundaries reset. Love y'all so much. I'll talk to you soon.